Leave, and never return. My father said it calmly, not yelling, not emotional, just final. The Christmas lights blinked behind him like nothing had happened. My 6-year-old tightened her grip on my hand under the table. "Mommy?" she whispered. I felt every eye at that dinner table slide toward me. My stepmother stared at her plate. My brother pretended to refill his wine. My father didn't blink. We had driven 3 hours in the snow to be there. 3 hours because he said family should be together on Christmas. 3 hours because my daughter had drawn him a card that read, "Grandpa is my favorite hero." 3 hours because part of me still believed that blood meant something. Dinner had started normal. Too normal. Ham glazed perfectly, mashed potatoes shaped into smooth white hills, holiday music humming in the background. Then my daughter, Lily, laughed too loudly at something I whispered. Just a child's laugh. Bright, carefree. My stepmother stiffened. "She's very energetic," she murmured. I smiled politely. "She's excited." "Children should be taught composure," my father added without looking at us. I brushed it off. Until dessert. Lily reached for a second cookie. My stepmother lightly tapped her wrist. In this house, we ask. It wasn't the tap, it was the tone. Lily's smile faded instantly. "She can have another," I said calmly. "That's not the point," my father replied. I stared at him. "It's a cookie," I said. "It's discipline," he countered. The room shifted. The air felt tighter. "I parent her," I said evenly. "And you do it poorly," he said. Silence cracked across the table. Lily's fingers squeezed mine harder. "Excuse me?" I asked quietly. You let her interrupt, laugh loudly, reach across tables. His voice remained eerily calm. "She has no structure. She's 6. She's undisciplined." My heartbeat began to thud in my ears. "Dad, stop," my brother muttered. But my father wasn't looking at him. He was looking at Lily. "As long as you're under my roof," he said, "she follows my rules." I stood slowly. "We're here for dinner, not a reform program. And I won't have chaos in my house," he replied. Chaos, because a child laughed. I bent down to Lily's level. "It's okay," I whispered. She nodded, but her eyes were glassy. "I won't be disrespected in my own home," my father continued. "You're disrespecting me," I said. He leaned back in his chair, and then he said it. "Then leave, and never return." The words didn't echo. They settled, heavy, permanent. No one defended us. Not my brother, not my stepmother, not a single voice at that table. Lily looked up at me. "Are we in trouble?" My throat burned. "No," I said softly. "We're leaving." I picked up her coat, her small boots. Her drawing for him still sat by his plate, unopened. I hesitated for half a second, waiting for him to soften, to correct himself, to say something resembling regret. He didn't. He picked up his fork as if we were already gone. We stepped outside into freezing air, snow falling steadily. Lily looked back at the glowing house. "Is Grandpa mad at me?" And that's when something inside me snapped, because I realized this wasn't about cookies. It wasn't about discipline. It was about control, and I was done letting him have it. As I buckled Lily into her car seat, my phone buzzed. A message from my father. I expected a dismissal. Instead, it read, "If you walk away tonight, don't expect what's in the will." I stared at the screen, then at the warm lights glowing inside the house behind us, and I understood. This dinner had never been about Christmas. I read the message twice. "If you walk away tonight, don't expect what's in the will." Snow dusted my windshield in soft, silent flakes. Inside the house, warm lights glowed like nothing had happened, like my daughter wasn't sitting in the back seat asking if she'd ruined Christmas. Inheritance. That was his leverage. It always had been. Growing up, love in our house was conditional. Good grades, approval. Quiet compliance, approval. Question him, silence. Defy him, withdrawal. Now the currency had simply changed. I climbed into the driver's seat slowly. Lily leaned forward slightly. "Mommy, are we coming back tomorrow?" I looked at her small, hopeful face in the rearview mirror. "No," I said gently. "Did I do something wrong?" The question sliced deeper than anything my father said. "No, never." I started the engine. My phone buzzed again. Another message. "You're being emotional. Think long-term." Long-term. The man who told a 6-year-old to leave on Christmas wanted a lesson in patience. I typed back, "Threatening your granddaughter with money isn't long-term thinking." 3 dots appeared instantly, then stopped, then appeared again. Classic control tactic. Keep me waiting, keep me unsure, keep me orbiting. I turned the phone face down and pulled away. The tires crunched through fresh snow as the house disappeared in my rearview mirror. Halfway down the road, Lily spoke again. "Can we still open presents?" My throat tightened. "Yes," I said, forcing warmth into my voice. "At home, with hot chocolate." She smiled faintly. That was enough. By the time we reached my apartment, my phone had 6 missed calls, all from him. No apology, no come back, just control losing grip. Inside, I kicked off my boots and knelt in front of Lily. "Christmas isn't a house," I said softly. "It's us." She nodded seriously, like she was storing the sentence for later. We opened our small pile of gifts on the living room floor. No grand dining table, no chandelier, just string lights and mismatched wrapping paper. And she laughed again, loud, free. I checked my phone once she was asleep. A voicemail. His voice. Measured. Cold. "You're making a mistake. Everything I built was meant to stay in the family. Don't let pride cost you security." Security. Another word he liked to weaponize. Everything I built, as if I hadn't built anything myself, as if my job, my promotions, my savings weren't real because they didn't carry his last name's legacy. Then, a second voicemail. "If you walk away, don't come asking later. Not if you need me, if you want money." There it was, clean and simple. I stared at the ceiling long after midnight. What was in the will anyway? The house? My brother already lived there. Investments? Controlled by him. Everything came with strings, even in death. The next morning, my brother texted, "You should have just stayed quiet." That sentence angered me more than my father's threat. Stayed quiet, swallowed it, taught my daughter that money outranks dignity. I typed back, "Does he talk to your kids like that?" He didn't respond. Later that afternoon, I received an email notification. Subject line, "Estate revision appointment confirmed." My father wasn't bluffing. He was updating his will. Punishment in motion. I stared at the screen, and for the first time, I didn't feel fear. I felt clarity, because if money is the only reason someone keeps you close, then you were never family to begin with. That evening, another notification came through from a law firm. Request for acknowledgement of disinheritance review. He wasn't just threatening, he was moving. And then I saw something else attached to the email, a clause I had completely forgotten about, a business trust created 20 years ago, in my name. Irrevocable. Irrevocable. The word sat on the screen like a quiet victory. I opened the attached document slowly. The Whitaker Family Business Trust. Established 20 years ago. Beneficiary? Me. Not my brother, not future heirs. Me. Irrevocable meant one thing. He couldn't touch it. No matter how angry he was, no matter how many revisions he signed. My father had built his wealth through a commercial property portfolio. Retail strips, warehouse leases, industrial units. The trust held 30% of that portfolio. 30%, legally separated, locked, protected. My breathing steadied. So the house, the flashy accounts, the inheritance threat, a distraction. Control tactics only work if the other person doesn't know their position, and he assumed I didn't. I called the law firm listed on the document the next morning. The senior partner confirmed it calmly. Yes, the trust cannot be altered without your consent. Has it been managed properly? I asked. Very. It's grown significantly. Of course it had. My father never mismanaged money, only people. Does he know I've seen it? I asked. A pause. He assumes you were aware. I almost laughed. He never told me. He never wanted me confident. Secure daughters don't stay quiet. That afternoon, my phone rang. His name filled the screen. I answered. You're involving lawyers now? He said, irritation barely masked. You involved lawyers first, I replied. Silence. Then, you don't understand how complicated estates are. I understand irrevocable, I said calmly. Another silence. Longer. You think that small percentage gives you leverage? He asked. Small. 30% of income-generating property wasn't small. It gives me independence, I replied. His tone shifted subtly. Less force, more calculation. You're overreacting over discipline, he said. All I asked for was structure. You told a 6-year-old to leave on Christmas. She needed boundaries. She needed love. He exhaled slowly. You're choosing pride over family. No, I'm choosing my child over control. He didn't argue immediately because there wasn't a counterpoint to that. You'll regret burning bridges, he said finally. Bridges go both ways. I hung up first, for the first time in my life. That evening, I sat at the kitchen table while Lily colored beside me. She drew our small apartment, 2 stick figures, big smiles, no mansion, no chandelier, just us. Are we still a family? She asked. Yes, I said without hesitation. Even without Grandpa? Especially without anyone who makes you feel small. She nodded thoughtfully and went back to coloring. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a short message. Dinner next month, neutral location, for Lily. No demand, no threat, just a test. I stared at it for a long time because power shifts don't always explode. Sometimes they rebalance. He no longer had the will as leverage. He no longer had silence. He now knew I knew. The dynamic had changed. I typed one response. Respect first, then we'll talk. 3 dots appeared. Paused. Disappeared. No reply. And for the first time, I wasn't waiting for one. Some people think inheritance is about money. It's not. It's about what behavior you pass down. Obedience or courage. Control or boundaries. If someone told your child to leave, would you stay for the will or walk into the snow? Comment what you would have done and subscribe for more amazing stories where dignity is worth more than any inheritance.